This episode of Food Fight, yes, Food Fight is back, is brought to you by Thunder Drain. If you live in the greater Rochester area and are in need of a plumber, text or call Thunder Drain at 585-500-1177. It's Food Fight time.
Welcome, everyone. We are back with Food Fight. We've taken a little break here. This is Chef Joe, and today I have a special guest with me today. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Cruz Nieves, and I'm the chef at Rella.
Rella, I know everyone's heard it here in Rochester. It's kind of a new and up-and-coming restaurant. It's been here for a few months. What was the exact opening date, Cruz?
June 7th.
June 7th, man. And, there's a lot of hype around town about it, man. I mean, I've been there. You almost damn near killed me and my business partner. You know, we had, so much food. We felt like one of those, stuffed Thanksgiving turkeys. So tell me a little bit about yourself, man. I know this town kind of is barely starting to get to know who you are. You've kind of been in the background, which I don't know why. You're a super talented person. We've got a long history together. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit, where you're from? Where were you born?
I was born in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, what part?
San Juan.
Okay, very good. You still have family that's there?
No, most of my family already, moved somewhere else, the last family I had down there was my grandmother, and she lives in Texas now.
Good, man. Looking for the better life.
Yeah, I mean, she's, my aunt moved to Texas. She's getting a little bit old, so she's like, hey, move with me. So,
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's
Plus,
really good.
Things are not that well in Puerto Rico, so.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you were born there, and how long did you stay there before you moved to New York?
I stayed in Puerto Rico for 18 years of my life. I never left the island for anything.
Really?
Yeah, I never traveled anywhere or anything. So I completely grew up there. I turned 18, and then a couple months later, I moved to Rochester.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Now, what made you want to come to Rochester?
My mom was already here.
Your mom was already here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, things weren't that good. And, it's like, as I started, getting into the restaurant and, finding when the good restaurants were, everything, always led to New York City.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah, makes sense.
Rochester was kind of like a pit stop to, for me to find a way to get to New York City.
But you're still here.
But I'm still here.
But we're going to talk about, you did make it to New York City eventually.
I did make it there, yeah.
So, when you came here at 18, what was your first job, man?
My first job was at Macaroni and Grill. As a dishwasher.
Yep.
I've already had cooking experience before.
Okay.
But not knowing the language, I went to a ESL school for 2 to 3 months. And after I felt a little bit more comfortable talking to people, I was like, I'm going to go out there and get a job. I'm bored.
Yeah.
I need to be doing something, not just this English stuff.
And in case you don't know Cruz has enough energy to supply an entire nation to make it through a war for 15 years. The guy has more energy than God.
Probably.
It's crazy. So it's when he has to unwind and express himself, it's you better give him some outlets.
Yeah. So, I started working there. I went to Henrietta, took the bus down there, and I basically went all the way up to Buffalo Wild Wings, which is 110 Grill or something like that restaurant.
110 Grill, yep.
Yep. So I went up there, and from down there all the way to Olive Garden, I apply in every single restaurant. I apply Carrabba's, Applebee's, all those restaurants.
Just trying to get your foot in the door.
Yeah. I was just trying to get, a job. Yeah. I don't know the language. I could probably cook better than most of those guys anyways, because I was pretty good since I started. It was almost like a natural thing.
Yeah.
So, I think the same day, by the time I got home, the manager from Macaroni and Grill called me, and then I think Olive Garden called me, and then I went to Macaroni and Grill first, and, I got hired there. I don't know, just was a thing, and I started doing dishes there.
How long were you there for, Cruz?
On and off, I was there for total probably 2 years, I would say.
Yeah. So you started off as a dishwasher.
Dishwasher, yep.
And then what path did you go from there?
So once I started as a dishwasher, that I got kind of familiar with the ingredients and all the names of equipment, and that I felt like I would be able to speak the lingo and the language.
Yeah.
Of the kitchen, so I started looking for a cooking job because I didn't want to do dishes anymore. And I remember I got hired at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
As a cook, and I, it's just I just need to have somewhere in my resume that.
Yeah, because as cooks, just in case anyone doesn't know, is that it's super tough to get a job as a cook without experience.
Yep.
So it's like one of those double-edged things. Like, well, how the hell are you going to get a job as a cook if you can't get experience? And that's what you want to do. It's tough. Even if you go to culinary school, if you don't have any resume of any actual like practical work in the kitchen, it is almost.
It's actually worse because I mean, not to like judge anyone, but if you get probably you have that. It's like if you get a culinary student coming into the door and a non-experienced person, I almost always will go with a non-experienced person because like that culinary like school might have teach you some basic skills, but it's not going to teach you the
that
pressure.
Real life experience of being online in the kitchen.
Yeah, like
No, you're right, because like for me, the older I've gotten now is I've realized I like to hire the younger kids that are 18, 19, 20 that have the bodies of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds that don't have any bad habits. They have the endurance to go 12-hour shifts. They don't complain. They're learning constantly, so they're super excited about life. You tend to get more out of people that feel like they're learning instead of people that have done this for like 15 years and like, I already know this. I've seen this before.
I've seen it,
And they don't want to like learn your way. They're just already set in their ways.
And that's like the worst mentality a cook can have or anything. Like even when I came back from New York, I took jobs as a line cook. And I was better than probably the chefs or like, and for my personal opinion, I'm a big believer, like I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I'm a big believer. If I don't think I'm the best, no one else is going to think it.
I mean, I think a lot about your success as a chef has to do with your confidence in your own skill set and your own abilities. You have to believe you're good.
You have to, yeah.
Because if you don't and you go into any service or any situation without that confidence, it's never going to portray in your food.
No, it's never.
I'm a super humble person. I always talk very humbly. I am humble.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of confidence in my skills.
I
don't try to pretend to be somebody I'm not, though, either. That's a big difference, too.
That's the whole thing. You have to stick by what you really believe in and, like, what you really want to do. And then, like, get really good at that.
Sure.
Like,
So I want to go back to this whole macaroni grill thing. So you start off as a dishwasher. Did you do prep there?
No.
You just jumped from there to Wild Wings?
No, so I didn't go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
So I basically applied there, got hired, did the whole interview process.
Yep.
And when I go back to work, to like tell my manager, hey, like I'm gonna put my notice in, I want to cook. She's like, well, we were gonna promote you. How much are they paying you? I was like, I was getting paid $8 as a dishwasher, and then I was like, oh, they offer me $8.50. It's like, well, we'll give you $9. We'll put you on the pizza and the grill station.
Cool.
That was something that I was already very familiar with, something that I really enjoyed doing. Like,
yeah, pizza's like your jam.
Yeah, I love.
So just a little background here on Cruz is that not only does he love pizza, but he loves it so much he has a tattoo of a slice of pizza on his body.
Yeah, I remember.
Right?
Yeah, we were working. We were working together when I got the tattoo.
That's really cool, man. So
it was like a whole thing of eating pizza for 8 days in a row for every meal.
That's freaking cool.
Before I got the tattoo, because I was like, I need to make sure
this is what you want to do.
This is my favorite food.
So now that you got this offer at Macaroni Grill and you did pizzas, right?
Yep.
So like, what was your thought when that happened? Did you feel like you kind of broke through that wall? Like this is your chance, and like every day that you went in, did you appreciate it? Like it was like your last.
I mean, I learned so much there. You know, like that. Like I might have not learned how to get creative. I might have not learned. Good food
but it put good fundamentals into your skill set, right? The corporate, the consistencies, the checklist, the ins and outs, the A's and B's.
Yeah, and like not just that, the paste.
Yeah,
I think that was the job that like probably set me off to like, a pace of like being fast or like something, like getting in that
realistically,
rhythm.
back then, I remember. Macaroni Grill was freaking busy, man.
It was busy.
It wasn't like how it is nowadays. That shit was popping, dude.
Yeah, we will do like 400 covers on a night, like in nothing. And then there was 2 saute stations, which, the only place that I ever heard there's a saute station is Rochester.
Yeah.
So people understand this will be like a pasta station.
Yep.
That's what we call it in like a restaurant. They call it in Rochester as a saute station, but that was like the busiest. That even on the weekends, you needed to have 3 cooks on that station.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so you basically have 1 cook working like the chicken parms, the eggplant parms, like the shitty station.
Yeah.
And because believe it or not, that restaurant never deep fried their chicken parm or eggplant parm.
It was all pan fried.
It was all pan fried.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and like
that's good to know, actually.
Yeah, and they breaded their own chicken. They breaded their own eggplant. There were certain things that were like, but like when it came to like a corporate restaurant, it was almost like a like a 60-40 when it came to prep.
Yeah.
Like they, like
So
everything.
they make their own sauces and everything too?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
They made like I remember they made their marsala sauce and like all this stuff. That this guy that I don't know, he probably might be still there. His name was Tim, and like he'll come and like prep all everything. Like
It's funny how every restaurant has that one guy who
this-
like will knock out like your entire prep list for the whole entire business.
Yeah.
And it's just normally one guy who like leads the way. Like
Yeah.
I have a guy and it's Mario.
Yeah.
And Mario's been with me for years now, and I've worked with him back at Mario's too. And that guy comes in and handles that shit, dude. Like he'll sometimes prep 2 restaurants, and it's like one man. It's pretty impressive how like some of these guys get their groove and their efficiencies, and like next thing you know, they're just taking off and going.
They've been doing that for so long, and then you think about it. If this guy fucking leaves, I gotta hire 2 people
all day.
All day.
Don't, Mario, if you're listening to this, don't think anything, bro. You're staying. Chain your ass to that table. You can go nowhere, bro. So that's cool, man. So then, what's funny is that I got to get a little history here. So I ran into you when I was working at Mario's as executive sous chef. I had interviewed with you because Jimmy had interviewed you, right? And then I had interviewed you, and like you came across to me one night, and I took you around the building. We walked, we talked, and I just remember like one thing that stood out was your energy and like your determination, and your motivation. Like you had so much behind you that I remember was just like, holy shit, are we going to give this kid an opportunity to do everything he wants to do? Yep. So like, you know how it is now is that like when you hire people and you see that the opportunity that they want or that you can give isn't necessarily what they're looking for entirely. So sometimes they want more than what you can give. So you gotta be completely honest. You're like, damn, dude, I want to take this kid far, but it's like I don't have those resources.
You don't have,
And I remember doing the interview with you, and you were just like, dude, I'm the best. I'm the best.
Oh
I'm the
no,
best.
but that wasn't like the best that I like. When I say I'm the best now, that was like worse. Like
I know, but the funny thing was, so like I'm sitting here as a chef and being like, okay, yeah, he's got confidence. Like there's no lack of confidence with Cruz. You were able to speak well. You had good energy. And I was like, dude, this kid's going to be able to bang, dude. I'm going to put him on the line. And he's going to freaking just go for it.
And I didn't.
Dude, you weren't that bad. I'm trying to remember, but it's cool though. Cause like, I remember that we were talking and you were like, yeah, I'm at Macaroni Grill. And I'm like, okay, good. So like the volume is there, all these things were there. And, I remember you came on board and we, it was great, dude. We had a good time.
But something that like I took away from Mario's that like, and that was my biggest issue. Like when I started working there, it was not having the accessibility to go to the walk-in or like that, like have everything within like, I'm really fast. I can get to places really fast, but you're losing efficiency when you have to go downstairs,
dude.
Like I used to go downstairs and bring a couple things and like, oh fuck, and then
forgot something else. I gotta go down there.
I gotta go downstairs again, and all of a sudden like you're leaving work tired. You're working extra hard because you gotta go downstairs, back upstairs. Like.
Well, that was also like the we can blame the building and the setup, but at the same time, it was just the organization and the mind too. It's like being overwhelmed and be like, shit, I should have had this up here, but we were very limited on the amount of space we had upstairs. So we were constantly running downstairs to keep on doing it. We're wasting, each employee probably wasted at least 30 to 40 minutes a day getting paid just to get product and transfer.
Yeah, Tuan was the best at that shit.
Dude, he would slide, dude.
He's
gone.
Fucking awesome. I still remember.
Rest in peace to Tuan.
Yeah, rest in peace. But like I remember, that guy taught me as much as I hated him.
Yeah, and it was a love-hate relationship.
It was a love-hate relationship where we like love each other for a little bit, then we didn't talk for a while, and then we'll just get back to the same.
Dude, that's how it is though in the business. Because you spend a lot of time with each other, so it's very tough. Because it's like you're like brothers and sisters, man. You fight because you're in such like confined areas for such a long period of time. So back to the whole Mario's thing, like, I hired you, I said yes on it, we blessed it. You came on board. What station did you work first? The app station?
The app station. Oh, so that was the only station I ever worked
That's right, because then you went to brunch, right?
No, I was always working brunch, but then after working at Mario's for like probably 6 months, while I was at Mario's, I had dinner at Rocco and I became obsessed with that restaurant.
Yep, I remember.
And I begged, Mark Cupulo for a job until he gave it to me. And the moment he gave it to me, I went to James Dean and it's like, hey, got this job offer. And he looked at me. It's like, if you don't take it, I'm going to fire you. So you take it.
Yeah. It was a good opportunity.
It was like a great opportunity. Yeah.
And we all knew it. I mean, you had passion to do more than what we could offer at Mario's. Nothing against Mario's, but it was what it was. And there was more things you wanted to learn and do. And like the thing about you is you followed your palate.
Yeah.
Like you had food. You're like, that's the place I want to work. That's the way I want to cook. And I want to learn there. Yeah. And then you did it. We were all sad to see you leave, but it was like, it was like a stepping stone. Like as any chef sees like another cook or whatever, they want to see them succeed. Nobody wants to be held back or hold people back. They want to always promote that. Yeah. So it sucks to lose good people, but at the same time, it's always a good thing. It's a
good thing, when they go and, like To me, it wasn't much about the food and anything, you know. I think I always had a clear vision of what I wanted to do at the end. And it's just, that was like the perfect stepping stone.
Yeah.
You know, like getting to a place where like, you know, you're having a more personal relationship with the owner, when you can ask questions more directly of like, why are we doing this?
Sure.
You know, like not just a chef, like, you know, being a chef owner, it was my goal.
Yep.
You know, I want to be a chef owner.
It's a totally different situation.
Yeah, I don't want to just be the chef or the owner. You know, I want to be the chef owner. You know, because that's, and that, you know, having a small restaurant was always the goal.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing is like, you know, you go from Macaroni Grill, high volume, went to Mario's. That place was high volume
as well.
So it's like you kind of lose that intimacy as far as the chef or cook is concerned with your guests. Yeah. And even with your staff and with everything, it's tough because you're so many people. Yeah. Like sometimes at Mario's, there'd be like 30 people in one little area working banquets, the restaurant, serving, dishwashing, cooking. Everything. So it's like, it's chaotic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
You know what
chaotic.
I mean? It's like a shit show, man. You just don't know what's going on. There's so many people. So
and that little, like, you know, line, you know.
So like going from that to Rocco's, and you get to like actually be like intimate with like the few amount of people that you have there. Yeah. You know, the customers. It's like you're not doing a dining room full of 150 people. Like you have a chance to work with different ingredients because the volume is a little bit different.
I mean, the seasonal menus always like, even at Rocco, they don't change the menu much. They play with specials a lot, you know. Yeah. Like I think the only person at Mario's ever played with specials was you. Yeah. You know, like no one else was kind of like, because everybody. It's not that they didn't want to, but everybody else was so busy doing something else.
Always.
So it's like it's not always. like oh hey, we don't have time. Like we don't want to make special. No, it was like I think of like everybody was always busy. So we were always busy.
It was just a shit show, man.
Yeah.
That restaurant taught me a lot, and I'm very grateful for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's blessed me with a lot of opportunities, a lot of good people and resources, and it taught me a lot. You know, I came from Arizona, man. I was like, you know, I really want to do Italian food. I want to see what this is all about, and, you know, I enjoyed eating it. I hardly eat it anymore, but, I mean, I look back, and it's like, dude, that place gave me my chops for, like, high volume, man. That place is crazy.
Even like the place, even the restaurants that you go work at, and, like I tell this to my brother personally because he experiences that a lot. But if you go to a restaurant and you don't like it, you're still gonna learn something. You're gonna learn the things that you don't want to do.
Yeah, and those are equally as powerful as the things that you want to do.
Yeah, you know, almost even better.
So, you know, looking back, I remember there was a time that I directly remember with you being you back then, like the more inexperienced Cruz was. What was it, Mother's Day or Father's Day?
Mother's Day.
I remember. When you were supposed to do like, 1,600 artichoke Frenches? Yeah. And you did like half the amount, and I was like, and so was my job to watch brunch.
Actually, that was actually Father's Day. I thought you were going to tell another story, which was really funny as well. But yeah, it was Father's Day for that one.
So Cruz decided to do half the amount of artichoke.
I was like, we'll be fine.
Frenches. Yeah, like, he made the decision, not the chef. He was like, no, I'm only doing half.
I was like, Joe, this is very tedious. I don't want to do this. I'm going to do half, and we'll be good. Trust me. And he looked at me and was like, who the fuck is this guy? But all right, just remember, if we run out, I'm pulling you out of the omelet station, and you're going back there and finishing frying the artichokes.
And what happened?
That happened.
And you weren't very happy about it.
Oh yeah, I was like, fuck, he was right. You know, like it was like, fuck, now I have to do this. I could have done it yesterday.
I mean, mind you, this is while 1,200 people are running around and
and while you're trying to feed, you know, the masses, you know, and like
that's all right, man. That's good stories.
The other good story was like I showed up late for Mother's Day. Not that I wouldn't drink. Maybe I wasn't drinking, but it wasn't like I was super hungover or anything. It was just like my alarm didn't go off. Yeah. I showed up just in time to open the restaurant. Someone else set up the station. And I remember James Dean just gave me non-stick pans because the non-stick pans that I had were the worst. Yeah. And that taught me something because every holiday after that,
you were there early to get your pans.
I was the first one there to get my pans. I got the brand new pans. Yep. But Mario's like, because we did brunch every Sunday, but like normally around the holidays, there will be always like a nice set of pans.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get just
made sure.
Yeah, and then we'll rotate, throw away the old ones. I will always get those brand new
so
ones.
Funny, man. Between the pans and the towels and all the right shit, everyone used to always do that.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it'd take coming a half hour early. You know what I mean? You get all the right shit and you wouldn't have to worry about it. You're not smiling through service and everyone else is like, goddamn pans.
Struggling, yeah.
Where's the towels? Where's this?
Where's everything, yeah.
So that's cool, man. So yeah, so when you left, let's go back here a little bit because I want everyone to know like what you're about here. You left Mario's to go work at Rocco's. Yep. And then what did you do at Rocco's? What was your first station you worked there?
So when I worked at Rocco, the first station was Pizza and Grill.
Okay. So kind of still in your wheelhouse, stuff that you were familiar with.
Stuff that I'm familiar with. You know, I've done this a million times. I did this at my first job in Puerto Rico as well, which is like, we didn't have a grill, but it was like kind of like you'll do pizzas and a little bit of, like a pan station. There wasn't grills, so we just like pan sear the meats and baste them and all that stuff. So I did that. The weekends, you got to have a pizza guy, and then you'll do the grill and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
And,
So how long were you at Rocco's?
I was at Rocco for 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
And we still stayed in contact throughout this entire time. We've never lost touch with anything.
Yeah, we never lost touch.
Always supporting too.
Yeah.
It's always like that because like anyone that I've ever worked with or worked with me, whatever, how you want to say it, I've always had like true passion for them to succeed and wanting good things for all the people. I never wished ill will on anyone. I always wanted everyone to have like that moment where they're like, look what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And it's like I like to just keep in touch with everyone because throughout my career I've seen that happen like 50 times, and it's awesome to think that like we were on the line one time as line cooks. We were, you were my dishwasher one time when I was a chef, and it's like now you're the chef, and it's like it's so cool to watch all these things happen. So 2.5 years at Rocco's, and then what did you decide to do?
Well, after I worked at Rocco for that long, being a small kitchen, I always worked the same station. Mm-hmm. I learned new things almost with the specials and all that stuff, but I felt like I mastered the restaurant. I didn't want to leave because I wanted to leave. I love my coworkers. To this day, we still talk about the crew that we had at that time at Rocco. It was me, Edgar, who still is a chef there, which to me is still probably one of the most no one knows who he is. Let's put it that way. And this guy's been the chef at Rocco for 10 years. He's been with Mark Kupulu for 18. And
that's something to say, man. 18 years?
18 years, yeah. He started with Mark as a dishwasher.
Shout out to Edgar, man.
Yeah.
That's freaking an achievement.
Until he started with him at Max Chapa House as a dishwasher. And all of a sudden he made it to the line.
Just worked his ass off, stayed dedicated.
Yeah, and he is the hardest working man in the room.
That's awesome.
He walks into work 10 years later, 11 years later, and he's going to tell you why he's the boss, and he's not going to tell you. He's going to show you.
Yeah, and that's the best type of person.
Yeah, he'll come in and prep, and if you're behind, he'll going to show you that he can prep his stuff, your stuff, and maybe the other person's stuff.
Yeah.
And, that's a goal, for him.
So that's cool. So, you wanted to do more.
Yeah, I wanted to do more.
I feel like you kind of, seen what you'd seen there, and you wanted still more. So what was the next move for you? Did you, reach out to anybody, or, would you just go out looking on the internet? I mean, what was the procedure back then?
So the procedure back there, for me, being Italian food being my main passion and what I've done through my entire career to this point, I wanted to move to Italy. I thought I was I wanted to learn the cuisine better. I wanted to learn the culture. So I remember, when I had the idea, I talked to Mark. It's like, hey, Mark, I love working here. I love everything you do. You're such a great boss. I have no complaints about you, but I'm not going to move anywhere in this restaurant.
Especially when you got Edgar there. It's been there for 18 years, man. You ain't going nowhere.
I'm not going anywhere. So it's like, I'm not going to move anywhere. There's no restaurant in Rochester that I want to work at. Yep. I don't think there's anything in here left for me. I would like to move, if I move to Italy, where do you think it will be the best place for me to start and learn and all that stuff? And Mark, looked at me and he always points. It's like, Cruz, don't go to Italy. And I'm like, what? I want to learn Italian food. And it's like, no, I mean, you're very talented and it'll probably suck to lose you, but you got to go to a big city. That's when you're going to learn the most. You have what it takes.
And which was your goal all along.
Yeah,
but Rochester was supposed to be a pit stop.
But I have forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it was like a goal at the beginning, but, it was one of those things that, you're going with the flow.
Oh, so yeah, you lose years quickly just going with it.
Just going with the flow. Yeah. So I have forgotten about it. And, when he tells me that, it clicked right back up. It's like, God, that was the goal.
Yeah.
It's like, you should go to New York City, San Francisco, or Chicago. That's where the Michelin stars restaurant are. That's where, you make a name, or, you work for these people. You find the mentors. Basically, it's find the mentors. And I remember after we had the conversation, I think I was reading the book Heat.
Okay.
And then along the lines, I was reading Restaurant Man and, basically everything that's, surrounded around Del Posto. So I started, learning about Del Posto. Del Posto, at the time, was the only Italian restaurant to ever get 4 stars by the New York Times.
Okay.
Was the first Italian restaurant in the country to get a Michelin star.
Yep.
So
who was the executive chef at that time?
Mark Latner.
Okay, yeah, he's a badass, by the way.
He's a badass.
Yeah.
And the guy,
And that's the chef that you worked for.
yeah, that's the chef
correct.
that I worked. I mean, Melissa was there. I worked
Okay.
for Melissa as well. Melissa, which is the current executive chef owner now. You know,
So you used you went to Mark Kuplo, you asked him what was going on.
advice, yeah.
And he gave it to you straight. He's like, man, it's gonna suck to lose you, but he believed in you and wanted to see you do good. And he recommended you go to a big city, and you figured out that Del Posto was the place that you wanted to go.
Yeah. And then
Did you have any ins with it, or how did that work?
so
Because
Russell
most people can't just walk into a Michelin star restaurant and
and
get a job.
it's like get a
Bruce.
job. Yeah. So
Especially an out of towner from not New York City.
Not-
Because
not
New York
in-
City experience is totally different than
it's
regular.
oh man,
Yeah.
wait
They don't-
till we get there. It's like
Yeah.
that's the best, you know. Like so around that time, I had met Russell Ferguson, or you know, I knew who he was. I met him from previous holidays parties that Mark hosts at his house.
Okay.
Which is to me is the best party in Rochester. So Mark approached me and was like, you know, I was like, hey Mark, like I actually approached him and I was like, hey Mark, like, didn't you mention that like Russell Ferguson, he's one of the chefs at Weckman's? I was like, didn't you mention that Russell Ferguson like was rooming with Mark Latner, or he has some sort of connection in New York City? He's like, yeah. So I met the guy. Mark put in the work for me, and you know we set up a stash.
Okay.
Like Rocco closes for 10 days every year.
What is that?
September. This year we did it a little bit early, but
Okay.
normally it's like the Labor Day weekend.
And that just gives everyone a chance to recoup,
Well,
kind of clean
yeah,
up.
it's like basically the staff. You know, it's the slowest time of the year, so it's perfect to close. You know,
Yeah,
so it's like you're not. You know, you're basically actually breaking even if you close.
So then when you closed down, you went down to Del Posto and stage?
Yeah. So basically,
So explain to everyone what a stage is, Cruz, because some people might not understand how this works.
so a stash is basically a cook's interview.
Yep.
And most restaurants in New York City, for what I've experienced, they don't care about your resume.
Yeah.
No one ever reads it.
Yep.
You know, and
I'm the same way too.
yeah, and things works over there. Basically, the chef is gonna send you somewhere, and that's the way that you're gonna get hired.
Gotcha.
Like, you know, the chefs wants you to, after, you know, everybody's like, you got to move forward.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, it's a working interview. So, you know, chefs believe that over there, at least most of them do, that you can put anything on a piece of paper
All day.
all day.
All day.
You can be Superman on a piece of paper, but can you fly in person?
Right.
You
Can
know?
you walk on water? No.
Can you? No. Okay. So
You ain't shit.
you ain't shit. Yeah. So, you know, I set up a stash over there. My whole goal was to work at Del Posto for the 10 days that I was on vacation.
Got
So
you.
I'm that crazy that I'm going to work on vacation. While everyone is going on vacation, I'm going to New York City to work
Yeah.
for free.
Of course.
You know, and to me it was like, all right, so that couldn't happen because of the laws and all that stuff. So we set it up around 3 different restaurants. I was supposed to stash at one of David Boulet's restaurant. I was supposed to stash at what's this other guy? I forgot his name. Rosemary guy. Cesare Casella.
Yeah.
At one of
It's
his
your brother's favorite.
yeah. Out of one of his restaurants, and I was supposed to go to Del Posto as well. So it was like split up of being like 2 to 3 days on each restaurant.
Some of the best restaurants too.
Yeah, well, they're really, really good restaurants. And then when I walked into Del Posto, like remember they told me to show up at 10 in the morning on a Sunday. No one was there. They fucked up.
Oh man, come on.
No one showed up until 1.
Really?
And I got to New York City on a Saturday. I took the bus down there, got there, and then I remember going out that same night. And everything closes at 4. So I didn't get home until 5:30.
Then you were back there at 10. Nobody was there until 1.
Until 1.
Oh shit.
And then I was like, going back home, it's an hour. Or not home, but where I was staying,
Yep.
it was an hour train ride. And another hour train ride back.
So you're better off just staying there.
So I was better off because what am I gonna get? 1 hour over there?
Yeah.
So I basically walked around the Chelsea Market. I walked around the High Line.
And at that moment, were you like, dude, like I love this place? Or were you like intimidated by it?
Oh, I was so intimidated.
because like
dude.
it's so different.
Oh man, I
it's
walked
completely
in
different.
into probably like one of the biggest kitchens, or the biggest kitchen of any restaurant in New York City. That does not count hotels. I'm talking about just restaurants.
Really?
Like this kitchen is humongous.
Now, Del Posto is a Mario Batali restaurant, right?
Yeah. Mario's not involved with anything anymore. He sold his equity of everything.
That's originally how it got started.
That's
right?
how everything got
Gotcha.
started. You know, I got into the Mario bandwagon because Mark is like a very, very Mario person, and that's kind of like I kind of got introduced to it and like started following the guy and like reading about him and all that stuff.
So when you're sitting there at 1 o'clock, or when somebody finally shows up at 1 o'clock, were you just like, oh, thank God somebody's here, like, let's do this?
So I was sitting on the bench in front of the restaurant. There was a bench there, I remember, and I seen all these guys in pictures. I studied them.
Yeah.
I read about them, and you know I know where they're from. I researched them.
As you should.
As
now,
you should,
we should give tips here. Even in a place like Rochester, if you go into a restaurant to apply, you should A, know the menu, B, know the chef. You should definitely know the cuisine or like what the goal is for that restaurant. You know how many times I interview people, I'm like, hey, do you know the menu? Like, oh, I haven't looked at it yet.
Why we do want to work
Why
there.
are you here?
Yeah,
like, there's people that like know the menu inside and out that come and sit down and like, can I please have a job? And I got people that don't have a single clue. So good. You studied who you know, you're seeing these people that like you studied, like you're kind of seeing them in person now. So you're probably like, oh shit, like this is actually going down.
So I was sitting in front and I remember I see Matt Abdu, who was the chef de cuisine at the time, crossing the street, walking by. I'm shedding my pants.
Yeah, he's like a rock star almost to you, right?
Yeah, he was like a rock star. You know, him
Absolutely.
and Latner to me were like, shit. You know, these two guys are like badass. You know,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Like when the both of them were there, that's when the restaurant was like super glowing and all
At
that.
its peak almost, right?
Yeah, you know,
for sure.
and so I see him, and then after he walks in, I wait. I'm not gonna just follow this guy. You know, like I was
like a puppy dog or something.
Yeah, like I'm gonna wait, like maybe let him change. I waited like 10 minutes out there, and then I went in.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I remember got introduced to Chef Maria. Chef Maria at the time was the chef de partie / sous chef.
Okay.
And
because people don't know what chef de partie is, then.
Yeah, I mean, basically, a chef de partie is the person that is kind of like in charge of the station, but like she was a sous chef. They call it like junior sous chefs.
Gotcha.
So the amuse station, the garbage stations, every station in that restaurant had a sous chef.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it's that
it's probably
big.
that big, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
so it's basically
Requires
you got your, you know, there's multiple sous chefs that, you know, but that's the way that you keep the quality.
Sure.
You know, you trust these people know the standards of the restaurant. They've probably been there for a while, so they, you know, so they push the two.
And it gives a lot of opportunity for people that are under them too.
Oh,
So they all can see the opportunities to grow and become something.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and become, you know, and something. So I remember that this guy who spoke no English, he was an Italian guy. Like his English was so bad. I got thrown out to work with him. Someone called in that day, and someone walked out. This is my first day at Del Posto.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, holy shit, what the fuck's happening here? Like, why is people leaving this place? This place is beautiful.
Yeah.
I have never in my life walked into a kitchen that clean.
Wow.
So sparkle, like everything. And I'm not talking about like just the kitchen, the people too.
Yeah. Everyone's all well groomed and
I mean,
just
it's like just white,
yeah.
clean. Like,
Well, I mean, they got a Michelin star cruise.
yeah, I know, but like at the time I didn't understand why.
Right.
You know, I'm coming from like little restaurants, wipe down your hands on your apron, and like you know, work at a Red Sauce restaurant, you finish off with like shit all over you. I'm like, how the fuck these people? Are they even working?
Right.
Why are their chef coats so white? Like I couldn't get it, you know. But then eventually, you know, you learn and all that stuff. So with all that stuff that happened there that day, so I came back the next day and like they were having staff issues. And I was like, hey, you know, like I have 2 more stashes set up, but you know, my original plan was to stay here for 9 days. And I still remember Chef Melissa, no, we don't need you. Like go see everything. Cause she's very like people person, you know, like she wants you to go see more. Gotcha. She's like,
she's seen the big picture. She's seen how important it was for you to be able to get the experience at the other places.
At all the places too. She was like, you know, see more, not just come here to see this. Like, yeah. Like by the time I think I've already gotten hired. Like I got hired on the spot there. Like Matt Abdu looked at me on day 2, I think, of my stash. And he's like, do you want a job here? And I'm like, I would love a job here.
Right.
And he was like, well, I can set you up with a place to stay and everything, you know.
Wow.
We'll hire you right now. We need people. You're doing great. And I looked at him like, hey, you got to give me a couple months. Number 1, I'm on vacation. If you were my employer,
you'd want the same respect.
You want this, you know, you don't want me to call you in the middle of vacation. I'm not coming back. As much as this sounds beautiful, like I don't have to pay rent or anything, you know, like you guys are accommodating me, like to be part of the staff. Like I will never do that to him. This guy, the reason why I'm here is this guy. So I'm not going to do that to him.
Yep.
Give me a couple of months, and he's like, I'll give you the time that you need. It will be a pleasure to have you here. As,
Wow.
you know,
That's a hell of a compliment.
Yeah, I was like, great.
Coming from a kid from Puerto Rico who
Yeah.
moved to Rochester and worked at Macaroni Grill, Mario's and Rocco, and now like you're sitting in front of like a Michelin star chef saying, "Hey, listen,
Hey, yeah.
we'd love to have you on the team."
Yeah, and
that's a pretty big accomplishment.
I was
right?
like, and I was scared shit of everyone in there, you know, man.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, all the cooks were so badass.
yeah,
You know, I remember this kid, Sean O'Hara. Oh my God. Never seen anyone make work look effortless.
really,
Oh my God, this kid was talented.
yeah,
A little bit arrogant, but fuck, was he good at
yeah.
his job?
Well, you know
Like,
what? Sometimes it takes that, man.
Fuck it, man. He's a sous chef now at the French Laundry.
Oh, so that's just it's a shitty position, dude. That's nothing. No big deal.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Whoever doesn't know who the French Laundry is like probably one of the best restaurants in the world.
They should
you
just
know?
turn off the podcast and pick something else to listen to.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, that kid. Later on, I found out he's worked at John George, Alinea, and like all these badass restaurant. And then he ended up at Del Posto, and that was kind of easy for him.
Yeah,
You know.
that kind of almost like a vacation.
It was a vacation
Yeah.
for him. Like, and I didn't understand why
Yeah,
until I learned what these other restaurants were.
Sure.
Because you know, we're talking about from 1 Michelin star to like 3 Michelin stars restaurant.
yeah.
And all that stuff. So, you know,
So then you came back. You talked to Mark. Obviously, you told him the good news and bad news same time. Or
Yeah,
what that?
yeah.
Like, did you do it immediately or did you wait?
oh no, yeah. When I
Okay.
came back, you know, I sat down with Mark. It's like, hey, Mark, I got hired.
Yep.
You know, I need to save some money. So I'm giving myself 3 months. So, you know, once the time gets closer, I'm going to give you a month
Yeah.
notice to, like, you know, be able to find someone or, you know, whatever you might need to do. So once the time gets closer, I'll let you know when will be the day that I move.
And what did he say? Was he happy for you?
No, he was very happy, you
That's cool,
know,
man.
and all that stuff. And, you know, he always rooted for me.
That's awesome, man. Sounds like a great guy. He really does.
Yeah, and
I don't know him too much personally, but like I hear about him. I know a lot of stories. About him.
and
You
he-
talk about him so highly, so that's cool.
yeah, he was all awesome about it. And it's like, if you need any help, you know, like, and yeah,
So then you went down there. You packed up everything.
Yeah, I
You
packed
moved
up
down there. You went to Del Posto.
3 months.
How long did you work there?
at Del Posto for 2.5 years almost. Yeah.
That's pretty big, man.
Yeah, it was so much fun. So I thought I was gonna get started like a little bit further on,
Yeah.
and initially it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to start low, you know. Even though like I ended up working the fish station on my stash,
Wow.
like they don't let that like happen a lot, you know. So I started on the amuse station, frying station, you know, and like that station was all about knife skills.
Yeah.
Like each station will prepare you to
Be
the
like an overall.
great
Gotcha.
cook. So we did a lot of brunoise. There was a lentil soup. They got brunoise.
So explain to everyone what a brunoise is, Cruz.
brunoise is probably the smallest dice cut you could do, and this were even smaller.
Is it
than
an
that.
eighth of an inch by an eighth of an inch? Is that the technical?
That's the technical dimension, but we were doing smaller ones.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's Mark Ladner.
So like almost like the grain of a rice, just so everyone out there can kind of get a picture.
yeah,
of like
and
what
they
this was like.
and you know these people, you know, once you don't do it so often, you know, you get really good at it and all that stuff. But these people wanted like perfectly stuff, you know. Like I remember the
Like you're
first
trimming the edges, squaring off everything.
everything. Nothing could be.
It had to be a square.
Yeah, it had to be a
It couldn't
square.
be a rectangle. It couldn't be a diamond. It couldn't be some silly shit that somebody just hit with a weed whacker. Like it had to be precise.
I remember walking in to the the line. What do you guys need? You know, I'm the new guy, so it's like, what do you guys need? It's like, oh, we need Bruno carrots. I was like, fuck, I can do this. Fucking go downstairs, grab some carrots, peel them, cut them, do my batonets and all that stuff. I don't square anything.
Oh, they
you
threw
know.
it in the soup, didn't they? Threw it in the stock.
This was for soup, but like I did it, and then I remember this intern guy, Mansu. No, what's a Mansu? Yeah, it was like it was actually Jillian. Oh, I don't remember who it was, but whatever. Someone walked in and it's like, no. I was like, I had a cup of this thing already done. Like, I'm fast. I want to show these people how fast I am. I'm like, no. Slow it down, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
none of these are the same size. Garbage to the, to sauces.
Yep,
And
that's what
then-
happened with mine the first time. I thought I was a badass, and I did 4 quarts before they told me it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, so it's like, okay. So they, taught me how to do it and all that stuff. And I'm like, all right.
The thing they teach you too is time management. It's like sometimes like we're always forced to move at a high pace, and we give up a little bit of quality there. It's like, no, just take your time. You do it right the first time. We don't spend the money or the time to redo it.
Oh, yeah.
It ends up being faster and more efficient and more consistent in the end.
At the end, yeah.
It's like walking the race instead of running the race. Because you got the people that are going to tire out before crossing that finish line.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it's about. That's crazy. So keep going here.
Yeah, so, I mean, I worked at Del Posto. I mean, I worked through the entire stations. The only station I didn't work was meat roast. I cook enough meat. It wasn't like, I mean, it was the station that you wanted to work at.
It was. So that was like the station everyone like fought for.
I mean, that's the step before the sous chef.
Gotcha.
Because, you basically make yourself run the restaurant. So you go, they call it assaji, like the first bites that you get in the restaurant. On a French restaurant, they call it amuse-bouche or whatever. Yep. So you work assaji, you work garmo. Then from garmo, you go to entremet. Entremet is the person that cooks the garnishes for the person that's cooking the protein.
Yep.
So you go fish entremet, which is a really, really hard station. So you go from garmo to fish entremet. Fish entremet was hell. There was no ever. I probably worked the station for 3 months, never got it down. And, it was rough. Yeah. It was rough time during that station. They moved me to the meat station.
Okay.
As an entremet, and then, pasta, which is like the best station right there. Like, there's no one that you ever talk to there that works pasta, and like, it's not like, yeah, that's the best station. That's my favorite station. Because let's say if you do 200 covers, like everybody's doing 200 covers, but everybody gets 2 pasta. So you're technically doing 400.
Yeah.
So it's a very fast pace, and it takes a lot of like, skills to like not break your butter sauces. Like you're making sauces a la minute and really fast. The good thing there, it's like you don't have to plate. Your sous chefs do that.
Yep.
Because that's the last person that touches the food to like check the quality. So you're just passing pans and all that stuff. So I made my way through the entire stations. The station there was my last station there was fish roast in the morning.
Okay.
So 1-person station should have been a 2-person station, or as people call that, 1.5.
There you go.
Because you needed like a
Just
little
backup here and there during volume.
A little, yeah. You make all your sauces.
Yeah.
Like you make all your seafood stocks. You make everything, and then like the meat person doesn't have to do none of that because we have a saucier. Yeah. Saucier is a person that just.
It tends to take more time too.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like the same as like the seafood stocks and everything else.
Yeah. So it's gonna take like a long time. So that you have a saucier downstairs, but the seafood person, makes all their own stocks and everything. The prep there was insane. Yeah. You needed to show up. I remember when I worked at the station, most of the time I showed up at 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. I trained the porters. The porters are the people that clean the restaurant at the end of the night. I trained them to turn all my equipment on at 5 a.m.
Really?
So when I got there at 6, they will my stoves, my French stoves will be hot.
Yep.
So before
saves you time.
Yeah, before I clocked in, this is like raw. Like I walked into the restaurant. While I'm walking there, I'll listen to music or read a book on the way there. Mm-hmm. But the moment that I'm walking to the restaurant, I'm doing my prep list in my head.
Sure.
You know, I'm going insane. Like,
and this is at 6 o'clock in the morning.
This is 6 o'clock. And
what time would service start?
11.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, again, the Vitamix were limited. I needed to do a lot of purees and all that stuff. So, like, I wanted to get everything. And then you got to cook lunch, too. So, my goal was able to be done with almost everything before lunch, finish 1 or 2 projects away after lunch, and or put things away after lunch. Yeah. Because if lunch gets busy, you're done, dude. If you're doing, like, 50 covers for lunch, you're done,
No kidding.
Yeah.
So, now you were there for 2.5 years. You worked from the bottom to the top almost. Yeah. And then what'd you do from there?
Well,
because you made more moves in New York City before you came back up here to Rochester.
Yeah. So after working there, I became obsessed with, like, I wanted to do French food now.
Okay.
Reason why is because my roommate, who is now the executive chef, Vinny, and Vinny's the chef de cuisine, and then Melissa, who's the executive chef, they both had worked at Daniel.
Okay.
So I'm seeing patterns now. I'm studying these people. Like, why are these people so good? Where do they get the creativity? Like, what did they do before here to get where they are? So to me, it was like, I need to work French food. Sure. I started stashed at Daniel.
Yep.
And then I did Gramercy Tavern, the Musket Room. It's like
Gramercy Tavern. That's a Colicchio restaurant, wasn't it?
No, that's oh my God, why am I blanking out? I'm so bad with names. They're a big group. They have the Che Chacks too.
Not sure.
Yeah, their Gramercy Tavern. It's basically, if you ask a lot of people, basically it's the best restaurant in New York. Basically, like it's just like one of those things. Like they have 1 Michelin star. They have 2 different kinds of service. They have the tavern, and they also have the fine dining room. So it's like it's a really cool place. And then they have a really large kitchen, very big operation as well there. And
Michael Anthony?
Michael Anthony's the
Danny
chef.
Meyer.
Danny Meyer,
That's
the
right.
Meyer Group, yeah.
Yep. Okay,
Yep.
just wanted to make sure we had our facts right here.
Yeah, yeah.
So you worked at Daniel's.
I mean, I stashed for 1 day there.
Okay, stashed.
And that was really like weird stash. Like you didn't work through service. You watched service,
Okay.
basically.
Just observed without being hands-on.
Being hands-on. You do a little bit of prep. You help them doing prep.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this girl, I don't know if this was a test or anything. They found the worst baby basil plant ever and gave it to me to pick the best leaves. I think I did okay. I remember she picked like some of them out, and then she like hands me the most beautiful one after I was done with it. It's like, just finish it up with this. Really?
Oh man, the mind games that go
yeah,
into,
it's
right?
like, but
That's
yeah,
funny.
I did that. I did, Gramercy Tavern, the Musket Room, Gabriel Cruther,
Yep.
and I think that was it. That was like the restaurants that I wanted to watch. And then I really
Gabriel's that had a Michelin star too, didn't it?
they just earned their second one last
Second
year.
one, wow.
Yeah, and that was the reason. Like, I always see the vision and I see what happening around me. I'm very observant, and that was the reason why I wanted to work at Gabriel Cruther, was because the teamwork there was insane.
It has to be for that level.
It was insane. Like,
Everyone has to be in
the
sync.
kitchen,
Everyone has to be ready to
the
kill.
kitchen was probably one of the most comfortable kitchens that I ever worked at. Like, perfect size. It was kind of like, I would say like 12 cooks.
Okay.
It's like half of what Del Posto was. Like, Del Posto was probably like 25, 26
Wow.
cooks for service.
I didn't realize it was that many cooks.
Yeah.
Half those people are probably working for free.
No, not anymore. You can't do that anymore over there. The laws are so like strict now that you can't do that any there.
It's not like back in the day where people could stage for like 3 months and just work for free. And
Yeah.
just go in there and help out.
That's not a thing anymore. So I ended up taking the job at Gabriel Cruther. Of all the restaurants that I stashed, and like, I thought that was the perfect fit. Reason why? Because they were 1 Michelin star restaurant, and I had, gotten an offer at Danielle already. Every restaurant I ever tried to apply, I got hired, basically. It was either me, take it or not. So I took Gabriel Cruther because they had 1 star. I tasted their food, and their food is like, I was like, this is not 1-star food. This is 2 stars.
Yeah.
I'm seeing-
Like you've seen it.
I seen it, like, and the only reason why they didn't have 2 stars is because consistency. You have to be. It's really rare for you to open a restaurant and immediately get 2 to 3 stars. Like, you always get that first one. That's for sure. Like, it's really, you got to be like a big name
Yeah.
to like, this restaurant's gonna be a 2-star restaurant for continuous time. So that was the whole thing. I want to be here when they get 2 stars because that will look amazing in my resume.
Absolutely.
I want to be there. So after working there, I started Muse. Then I moved to Garmo and all that stuff. I only lasted there for about 3 months.
What did you do after that?
After that, I went to work with Matt Abdu because he had
a barbecue place.
Yeah,
He kind of branched off away from Del Posto.
Yep,
And he started his own thing called the Pig Beach.
the Pig Beach. Yeah,
Yeah, I follow him, so it's
it's insane because when they first, so it started as a pop-up.
Yeah.
Like most restaurants in New York City start as a pop-up. So because you create an idea, you want to see if it's going to work. I remember when they first officially opened Pig Beach, I think they were like doing Del Posto numbers doing barbecue.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like they were like making I think they made like $1 million in like 6 weeks or like it was
that's all?
No
big deal.
it was like a lot of money in 6 weeks. I don't remember.
No,
like
that's a lot of money,
I
man.
know it's a lot of money. It was like insane. These people, they were doing 1,200 covers a day.
Wow.
And when you think about it, and
for
then
barbecue, you're so limited on the amount of product you have because you initially start off with what you envision you needing,
but that's the whole thing.
and then once you're gone, it's
You're
gone.
done.
So how the hell do you prep for 1,200 covers?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have a smoker the size of like a semi.
Oh, they have very few, like multiple smokers there. So, I worked there for a while, and then, I think I got very depressed when I was there because,
away from family,
I went
different place.
family, I'm not working at a fine dining restaurant anymore.
Yeah.
I thought I was going backwards. I get into like relationship problems. I get very depressed, break up with my girlfriend. And that was like the thing that tipped the cup. It's like, I got to get the fuck out of here.
So what'd you do? That's when you came back to Rochester?
Yeah.
And what'd you do? Did you call Mark and say, hey, listen, I'm coming back?
So
what?
basically when I came back.
Because we spoke when you came back.
Yeah.
So I offered you a spot to do like a pop-up at my restaurant at Nosh on Sundays when we were closed because you were still about that fine dining. You still wanted to do, modern Italian. And so we sat down and I was like, dude, like I don't have a lot of opportunity for you like as a cook.
As a cook,
what the hell's that going to do for you? You could show me everything you've done in New York City and it's just like whatever. But
it's not going to work here.
So it's like I was like, dude, but you can use my spot to be able to like showcase your talents and get your name out there because I believed in you. Yeah. I seen that like you had gone through. I seen that your dedication, your level of dedication. I knew you from the past, and I was like, dude, this is like a kid who like went from being like a pizza cook at Macaroni Grill to working at some of the best restaurants in the country, and then coming back. It's like, dude, you got to have some way to showcase what you've learned and done. Yeah. And at that time, I was hoping it was going to work, but things get busy, things have to happen. You took a job at Bronca.
At Bronca, yeah. So when basically before I came back, I made a post on Facebook, and I was like, hey, I'm coming back to Rochester. Is anyone hiring?
Yep.
And a lot of people, of course, reach out to me. And, I think I went to Good Luck. Mm-hmm. I remember Good Luck. They did an hour cook test on me. It wasn't like an interview. It's like, we need to do a cook test.
Okay.
Set an hour outside, come over, cook something for us. And I remember that was really fun because I look at Martello and I was like, where do you keep your scraps? Like, I'm going to show you, that I can make good food with garbage. So tell me where you keep your scraps and your vegetables. I don't want to use protein. That's easy. Like I want to make a vegetable dish and I did a really nice dish with like prosciutto scraps. Like I made a prosciutto vinaigrette and like, they like
It's kind of a unique thing because that right there is going to set like the spotlight on you as a chef to be like, you want to know where my scraps are. You don't want to use like a main focus. That's really cool because you're like already anticipating the amount of talent that's
again. This is like one of those things. This is like one of those things where like I know what the restaurant was all about. Mm-hmm. I know the intentions of a restaurant like Good Luck, where like, you want to make the most money you can. Sure. And that's probably most restaurants in Rochester,
I mean, most businesses in general.
The
focus, we all know the thin line on the profit margin of a restaurant is a lot smaller than what people anticipate. The place is busy. Every time make a ton of money, but it's like really, it's like you make nickels, pennies on the dollar if you're lucky.
I tell people that all the time and they're like, what? Like,
I'm
like, no. Like, if you want to get rich, you open a catering business.
Yeah, don't open a restaurant.
Don't open a restaurant, like, it's not a lot of money on it. Like, people think that you're, like, being rich and all that stuff. But, I did Good Luck. I did, what else did I do? I did Bronca, and I don't remember. I might have done something else, but I ended up taking Bronca's job because that was, like, the only management offer that I got.
Good.
And that's exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't want to, like, not that I didn't want to cook, but I was in the position that I wanted to lead people. And I wanted to pass the knowledge that I've gotten from New York City. Things at Bronca didn't work out. Ended up working at Next Door for a little bit.
Yeah, and they spoke very highly of you. I knew the guys at Next Door, and they're like, dude, this guy is a rock star. Like, when you just came in to do your exam and your cooking demo, they were blown away by it. Yeah,
I remember I did, like, I went over a couple minutes on the task, but I was like, I plated 2 dishes. Because I have done many cook tests before, and I never got to taste it. So for once, I wanted to make 2 dishes so I could taste it. So I told them, I said, okay, if I do 2 dishes. So I remember Paul Roman, he's like, I'm going to give you 2 ingredients and you're going to cook with them. He gets me a whole branzino and artichokes.
Nice. So right up your wheelhouse.
I was like, you trying to fuck me? Because that will fuck any cook over. Number one, not a lot of people know how to turn an artichoke.
Oh, no, that's true.
And that was one of those things that, like, when I worked at Del Posto, I became obsessed with artichokes because I sucked at it. Like, if I suck at something, I'll become obsessed.
Yeah.
I want to get better and better and better.
Of course.
So I was like, you don't even know. And I'm obsessed with fish.
Yeah.
Because fish is like, it's like a thing that no one can cook right.
No, I agree with you on that 100%.
It's like a piece of meat.
Yep.
Anyone can cook it. You overcook a piece of meat for 10, 15, 20 seconds. It's going to be okay. The customer's not going to complain. But fish, the window goes away really quick.
Yep.
And it's dry and it's not good. So, it's like fun. Did that. Worked there for about 6 months. Some things went down. Ended up leaving. Actually got fired, which is really hard to get fired from Wegmans. If
Good
you
job,
didn't know.
Cruz. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that one.
Oops.
But
It happens.
yeah, it happens. It's probably the only restaurant I ever gotten fired from too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's probably a turning point in your life, though. That's going to teach you something you probably never do again.
Yeah, and
Every negative, there's a positive from it, though.
it was stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna get into details.
No,
why I
no
got
details are
fired.
necessary.
But,
Just saying, though, every negative thing that's happened
yeah,
in his
and
life, you can always pull positive
Yeah,
from.
it was the best thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
Because it pushed me in like a better direction. Because I hated that place that much, and this is just like a personal. Like working there was not my thing.
Gotcha.
Like it was just like something that I didn't want to do. So I was going to work not happy. I
Yeah.
was losing myself there.
Okay.
So like that's the
And
great
sometimes it happens of just not being the right fit for the job
for the
at the
job.
time.
It's not the place. The place.
Well, not only that, but if you would have done that 10 years ago, you could have been obsessed by it.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe because it just wasn't the right time.
It wasn't the right
now.
time. Yeah, that's a beautiful kitchen.
Yeah.
Probably one of the cleanest kitchens in Rochester.
It's a place that I go to eat whenever I have a chance,
Yeah,
to be honest.
their
Yeah.
sushi's great, you know, and like you learn a lot there because they have the money to pay for ingredients.
Yeah, they got the Wegmans money.
Yeah. So after that, I ended up helping Tony Max Eastman for the Jazz Fest.
Okay.
And then after that, Mark needed a host.
Yeah.
And then I never worked front of the house. I'm about to jump in a venture when I have to do front of the house and back of the house at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was a perfect fit for me to, one, get to know Mark customers, people get to know me, and, you know, kind of like promote the restaurant before it even
And now we're
opened.
talking about hosting at Rocco's that led into Rella.
Yeah.
Got you.
So the restaurant was already in the talks. The restaurant, you know, like you'd probably know, it takes longer than what you think.
Yeah, you say 6 months, it's going to be a year.
Yeah, it's going to be a year. So basically
Yeah.
it was like about a year.
Yep.
And, you know, I worked there for, you know, hosted. I basically did everything. I could have done, the only thing I never done is like bartending. Not familiar with like making cocktails or anything.
Drinking them maybe, but not making them.
Nah, yeah, not even drinking. I'm more like a wine person, beer
Yeah.
person. Like I like my cocktail, but like,
So, like, you went back to Mark as a host at Rocco's to
Yep.
learn the front of the house because you knew there was more things in the work with him in the future.
well, no, we had already talked. The reason why I left Branca
Uh-huh.
is because we had talked about this restaurant already.
Gotcha. So this
So,
has been in the
Talks,
background for a while.
For a while, yeah.
Gotcha.
We basically, Mark approached me when I came back. That Mark was one of the people. I talked to you. I talked to Mark.
Yep.
Mark was one of the people that basically when I came back, he's like, he was already looking at the spot.
Gotcha.
And he was like, hey, you know, like I've been wanting to do a pizzeria. And as you said earlier, as much as I love pizza and as much as I making pizza, it's not what I want to do. It's not going to outshow.
And not for nothing, man. Rochester's got enough pizza places, bro.
Yeah, it does. So it's like, when he told me that, I was like, Mark, that's not something I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, good luck. And then he changed his idea. It's like, what do you think about doing like a seafood bar?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, now you're talking my language.
So what does Rella mean? Do you know? Is there like
Yeah,
a meaning of it?
there's
What
a meaning.
What does Rella mean?
Rella, it's short for Cinderella.
Okay.
Mark's wife, Cindy,
Okay.
Cinderella. And then the whole name came from the bartender at Rocco. So, you know, he started calling it Cinderella, and then he started calling it Rella.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So that's the whole meaning of it.
Yeah, that's the whole meaning.
That's pretty cool, man.
And I was like, you know, before we even sat down and like, remember one day I showed up to talk to Mark and he's like, I think I got the name of the restaurant. And he told me Rella. And I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't even like ask him why.
One word, it's short. It just makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes, and you know, Cruz, Rocco, and Rella. You know, those two things sounds really good. And then he explained me why. And I was I like it.
So not to like speed things up too much here, but like I really want to get to focus on where you're at now
Yeah.
and how Rella is now a way for you guys to kind of express who you are as cooks today.
Yeah.
In case anyone has not been to Rella yet, I highly suggest you going. What's the exact address?
181 Monroe Avenue.
Okay, so it's on the corner of like almost near Marshall, right?
Yeah, it's the corner of Marshall and Monroe.
It's like a corner wedge building. It's super cool. It's very unique because it's like a bar top that you go sit down at, and your cooks are your servers, your waitress, your
Everything.
waiters, your hosts, your everything. They're like your personal entertainment for the entire evening and throughout the entire experience of the restaurant. And during the summertime I went, when you guys kind of first opened, I gave you guys like a month or two before I went in there, and it was full. And it's really cool because like you get to share this really unique, intimate like experience. Like you don't get a chance to really, I mean, even in open kitchens, like you see the cooks cooking and the chefs calling and doing all these things, but you don't get to experience it and see the talent itself in such an intimate way where it's like literally you're like a foot away, you're watching them prepare the dish, very cool. You watch them season it, you're watching them tasting it, you're watching them like just prepare it. And it's like, even as a chef, like I found that to be highly entertaining.
It is very.
And it's like I see this shit every day. Yeah. It's what I do, but not on that level. And it's like to sit there and have somebody like it's almost like watching somebody make you sushi without making you sushi.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that cool experience where you get to really enjoy it. You see the ingredients, you're just like, damn, you get to smell it.
Yeah,
and it's a super unique, cool, fun place. And I was really blown away by the concept alone, especially knowing that you guys had changed it. And what it ended up being, it's like, dude, there's no place in Rochester like that.
No.
There's not a single place. It only has how many seats, Cruz?
16.
16 seats.
Yep.
So literally, if you're not one of those 16 people in the beginning, you're waiting for a seat. It's just how it works. Yeah. It's well worth it when you're there, though, because you're paid attention to, like you're like literally a very VIP, like a very important person. Yeah. Every person there gets treated with the same amount of attention and respect, and it's a super cool thing.
Yeah.
Super proud of you.
Thank you.
I mean, for what you've done, where you've come from, where you've gone, where you're going, it's very cool. I like seeing when I open my like social media feed and I see the newspaper's covering Cruz's face on there for Mark and him. Mm. It's like a freaking dude. We worked together at Mario's.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
You know what I mean? Like it's very cool. Like at Mario's, like my chef at Nosh is RJ. Worked with him at Mario's. My general manager at Old Pueblo Grill is Terry. Worked with him at Mario's. It's like Twan was doing great jobs before he passed away in South Carolina. He had
building
5 different businesses. Yeah. It's like a lot of people, Justin Chapman's over at Genesee Valley. Like all these people are doing such great things, but it's always good to see when people are succeeding at like life. Yeah. And it's like, it's good to see that you went to New York City, you got some different chops, you got some more ambition, you came back to Rochester, and you're making an impact and you're getting exposure for it. And you deserve it. You're a great person, a great cook. And I believe that you're going to have more to bring to this city in the future. And I'm super excited, man. I think that everyone should go and support you. And I think it's great. So give me like a quick synopsis of like Rella, really quick. Like what's your main focus? Where do you see it going? And what's it like real quick?
Well, the main focus since we opened the doors, it was to do good food, good service, nothing else. There's a lot of people out there that do really great social media. Yep. I run the social media. I barely post in it because I'm always hands-on doing other things. Yeah. Like there's people out there that are really good at promoting the restaurant. We don't do that. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the things that like we're good at. I'm not gonna lie. Nosh and Old Pueblo Grill. It's
you guys.
We hammer you guys. I feel bad for you. If you like or like follow us, you're gonna get 3 times a week. You're gonna get postings and
and great pictures and all that. The pictures that I've taken, it's because the pictures that I post is either the food bloggers that come in and take pictures and send them to me, and then I'd repost them. Or, I quickly, I mostly post me prepping. Not even
you're
me.
Focusing on making good food and doing good service.
I was like, oh, this shit looks cool. Boop, picture. Or boomerang. Or I'm grilling this. Or like this, come and check this out. But, the main focus is to give people good food, a good service, and nothing formal. I don't ever want people to, feel like, I tell people, basically you come to this restaurant and hang out with us. Yep. Have a good meal. We're going to chit-chat, we're going to talk everything, Netflix, whatever we want to talk about, whatever's happening, I tell people all the time, this is a curse all you want. I curse a lot, and that's who I am. And I try to keep it as minimal as I can, but that's
still
who I am.
Still being who you are.
It's still being, I'm not going to go out there and talk all professional. No, I'm going to talk.
Like how you would normally talk.
Like how
because you're in your place. It's like when you're more comfortable with who you are and what you're doing, you're going to put out better food, better service because you're being you instead of trying to pretend to be somebody you're not.
Yeah. I mean, the energy in there, it's really high because of my energy. So, it's like one of those things, you're just going to come in and,
Now you guys support local purveyors for food. What's your goal with that?
Mark takes trips to the market.
Cool.
On Thursdays, Saturdays, and, I get produce from that. We get our seafood from Conley, which is a purveyor of Boston. They have great quality of fish. The fun part, Mark does all the shopping.
That's cool.
I don't do none of the shopping. I do the creativity part. Mark doesn't touch the food. If he wants to use something, it's like, I bought this, I want you to use it some way.
Yeah.
And it's
so it's a good partnership then.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And he lets me go nuts. He doesn't question my things or anything like that.
He trusts you. Obviously, he trusts you. Yeah. So he's empowering you with the ability to be creative. He's looking for the best ingredients to give you. Yeah. He's basically giving you the paint. You're like the painter in the canvas.
Exactly.
That's very cool. I think it's great that you guys make such a good team with that. I just want to say congratulations to you guys. You guys got nominated for City's Best for Best New Restaurant.
Yeah.
Mark got nominated for being
Best
chef in the city.
Yep.
It's such a good thing to see.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is I'm in the same categories.
Yeah, well, you are in those too. Yeah.
And it's really cool though, because it's like you want to be surrounded by people you love and respect. And I'm nothing more proud than I am is being nominated with some of the best chefs in the city. And I think it's a cool thing. And it shows the level of work that you guys have brought.
Who's the fourth one? I know it's you, Mark, Martello.
Steve from Radio Social.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, super excited, man. Cruz, I can't thank you enough for sharing your story. Obviously, we got tons more shit to talk about, but we'll save it for another
Part
day.
2, maybe.
Hell yeah, absolutely. But until then, man, I wish you nothing but good luck.
Thank you so much.
You and Mark and your whole team, I think you guys are doing a kick-ass job, and very thankful to have you guys in the city and know you as a friend. So
yeah,
I appreciate your time, my man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and having me here. It was fun.
Absolutely, man. There's a lot of things that people need to know about. A lot of people in this town. You know, it's like nobody knew any of that shit about you, right? I learned a lot today.
Yeah.
I've known you for 7 years.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that should wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for listening into Food Fight, and talk to you guys next week.